Welcome along to the Timeform Sporting Life Weekend Preview. David Ord, joined by Kieran Clark and Matt Brocklebank, to look ahead to the action at Sandown Park. There's three of us in the studio, which is only one less than there are runners in the Coral-Eclipse. It's the first clash of the generations. Let's get the Timeform ratings up on screen to have a look at. There's only 4 to go at, Kieran, and Emily Upjohn, top of the shop.
Yeah, she was deadly impressive, wasn't she, last time in that Coronation Cup? And her reappearance, she heads the way. It's probably the first big clash we've had, isn't it? The 3-year-olds against their older generation. Paddington, is he the new Giants Causeway? This is, his 5th run of the season already. He's obviously got a great constitution. As you can see, them to a little bit, not that much far clear of Dubai Honour, who is back on our shores after he's been seen in Australia, and West Wind Blows, who does have quite a lot to find, who got quite an easy lead at Royal Ascot last time. So it's a fascinating clash between the top two in the betting, isn't it? And the first real test of that 3-year-old form. Let's
have a look at Emily Upjohn first then. We've got her in winning form at Epsom in the Coronation Cup here on the Friday. She's there in last in the pink silk. She's about to swoop on the outside and put this to bed quite quickly. How different, Kieran, could it be quickening up to try to beat these horses who've been competing at a mile to beating the likes of Westover?
Yeah, that's the key thing, isn't it? Because they're going to be obviously able to quicken a lot more than Westover, who, I mean, he's a good horse, but he doesn't really have a turn of foot, does he? But the way she went from last to first, I mean, she's got to the front miles too soon. I don't think Frankie was expecting that. It's almost like she's got quicker with age. I mean, she was quick enough to win round Wolverhampton as a 2-year-old, but the way she's gone clear, and then she's doing it easy there at the end, isn't she? The drop back in trip won't be a problem.
No, I was going to say that, 'cause, I mean, Westover at the line there is almost closing on her again, and it was the turn of foot, wasn't it? The real difference.
That's really what sealed the deal, yeah. And she was the only one in that Coronation Cup that was having a reappearance. You can maybe poke holes at the form, but there was only Point Lansdale in there who won a Group 1. It was actually quite a strong renewal, I thought. And she was a bit of a hard puller last year, but she wore a hood when she won on Champions Day, and that was retained last time.
She goes without.
She goes without. Okay.
I was going to say the hood sort of did appear on the face of it to have transformed
maybe she's just settled better with age. Then maybe that exuberance has kind of gone out of her. Maybe that's a case of job done.
It does to us all as we get older. Trust me. You'll come to you guys. Let's talk about Paddington now, Matt. You on a media call yesterday with Aidan O'Brien. This is Paddington winning the Irish 2,000 guineas. Now, this was his arrival on the Group 1 stage. Arguably more impressive in the St James's Palace Stakes at Ascot next time.
I thought he was deadly impressive, I thought, at Royal Ascot. And you just sort of sensed in the build-up to this race, there's a sort of air of inevitability. I think they fully expect this horse to go and win, within the O'Brien camp. He's on such an arc of improvement. He must have taken them by surprise a fair amount. He obviously started the season in a handicap at Naas, and not many O'Brien Classic winners will start off in handicaps, but he's absolutely taken off. It can happen, can't it? And we do see it every year. O'Brien, they're bred to be absolute superstars. This one is another son of Siuni, obviously St Mark's Basilica, winner of this race as a 3-year-old a couple of years ago when getting the better of another Gosden and Haggis horses. That was another Siuni. I think they're following a very similar path. Interesting. This could end up being like, not maybe one of the great, but a real 3-year-old campaign, couldn't it? As you say, he's won 4 already. Giants Causeway ran 10 times, but he won 5 times, I think, throughout that. This could really be. You'd imagine if he wins here again, you've got 5 wins on the board with maybe 3 more races still to come. It could genuinely be one of the good, the best we've seen in terms of 3-year-old campaigns. And he's very exciting. I think Emily Upjohn has got a real job on her hands here. I know the Timeform line is that Emily Upjohn tops the ratings, and you're pretty keen, aren't you, Kieran, in terms of fresh on the back of that win at Epsom, which was so striking. I just wonder as well, the Dettori to Buick, is that going to be a challenge for him? She's had her quirks in the past, and obviously we say we go without the hood now. Yeah,
potentially she might take a bit of knowing. Paddington's, we'll see the pace map in a bit, but Paddington's going to go forward, and O'Brien's gone on record of saying.
Let's get the pace map up. I don't believe that. I don't believe that he's going to.
It's in writing, Dave.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to. I mean, they've got West Wind Blows. You touched upon, got loads to find on the book, but at least that is an obvious pace angle. You'd be very surprised if they dropped him in last to 4 West Wind Blows, wouldn't you, Kieran?
It's Jamie Spencer, though, isn't it? But yeah, no, you think that the only way West Wind Blows has any chance in this, if they ride him like they did in the Hardwick and turn it into a turn of speed, you'd think that Paddington's probably going to sit second. William Buick's going to sit on his tail, and Dubai Honor's going to do his usual case and sit on the back. Maybe that pace map maybe suggests a bit different. I just think that's how it's. I don't think they can ride Emily Upjohn like they rode her in that Coronation Cup. She sat last for a long way. I think if they give Paddington a 3-length head start with his proven turn of foot, that's not the way to go. I think Buick's going to be aware of that, and he's probably going to sit in behind. It's going to be a real fascinating clash if it comes to that 2-pole, isn't it, when the taps are turned on. But I just worry about his 3-year-old form. Yes, he beat the Guineas winner, but that Guineas was a real strange race. Loads of them that have come out and franked the form that were down the field, but those who were in amongst the finish, are they really any good? Likes of Sharon, and that Irish Guineas form was a bunch finish, and I just worry that against these proven older horses, these 3-year-olds might struggle. August Rodin being the one, I think he could really serve it up to them. When
you say proven older horses, I think Dubai Honour has to be in that conversation, doesn't he? I don't know what your thoughts are, David. Like, this is a horse that he was second in a Champion Stakes as a 3-year-old, and they didn't lose him, but obviously he went out to Meydan, he finished down the field, and then last year I just don't think he was quite able to fully replicate that form that he'd shown at the back end of his 3-year-old campaign. But William Haggas just going into that sort of campaign in Australia, and then he obviously went on to Hong Kong. William Haggas was really quite positive about the way that he'd matured over the winter, felt that he would really thrived again, and so it proved. He won his 2 Group 1s. They were on right-handed courses, Randwick and Rose Hill, wasn't it? And Shartin, obviously, it was a good run. That's
a good running.
Yeah, third to Romantic Warrior. Romantic Warrior just got first run on him. Maybe he didn't quite have the tactical speed of that one on the quicker ground. But again, we just got to mention there might be a few heavyish storms around at Sandown, and any rain that falls, I'd say, would be in Dubai Honour's favour.
Selection time, Matt?
Yeah, I'm not going to have a bet. I would put forward Dubai Honour as being a touch overpriced if he's around 12 to 1.
Kieran?
If there's any 5 to 4, 11 to 8, Emily Upjohn gets stuck in, lads.
Before we move on, make sure you click like and subscribe, and also click on that notification bell to be notified of all of our latest videos. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Let's
briefly look at the Coral Challenge, the big betting race on the card, and very competitive mile handicap. We've got the time form ratings to help us. They won't be quite as clear cut, I wouldn't imagine, as they were for the Eclipse. So there they are, Kieran, tight as you would expect at the top. And what do you like the look of in this race as well?
Yeah, this is a real tricky puzzle. We'll put that out there first. Intelligence Top, I've quite fancied him for the Royal Cup last time, and he very, very slowly away, and he didn't really go with much zest, and I'd be willing to take him on. That top rated comes from his peak form last year, and he's not really matched that this year. For me, I think you've got to go with the sole 3-year-old in Skeptic. The draw's a bit of a concern, but he gets the weight for age allowance. He's here off 8 stone 2. Holly Doyle takes the ride. Andrew Balding's absolutely flying along at the minute. I know he didn't have a winner at Ascot, but he had as many as 5 or 6 winners last Saturday. And 3-year-olds against older horses this time of year, they're normally the way to go. Perotto is probably the obvious one, but the market hasn't missed him. And then you've got the likes of Spirit Catcher and Escobar, Revich. They turn up in all these big handicaps. But for me, I think Skeptic's the one. I think the fact you're getting 8 to 1, you can probably put those draw doubts. They're probably factored into the price. I'm happy to take a chance on that. Pretty strong 3-year-old form.
Pull up the pace map for the final clue for this, Matt, before you give us your selection. It's a typical competitive handicap pace, a couple of obvious areas of pace there. What's on your radar?
Good pace map this, Dave, I think. Yeah, I am a bit sceptical of Skeptic, I have to say. I've backed quite a few 3-year-olds in this race over the years. Was it Pythagoras of Richard Fries a couple of years ago that was beaten favourite at 3 to 1? I've backed a bunch of Johnson 3-year-olds as well. It just, I know they get a huge amount of weight, but it comes quite soon, doesn't it, in their development? And this is, when you're up against Escobar and Positive and those horses of real experience in deep handicaps like this, it's tough. So he's got to be respected. The pace map speaks volumes. I think Spirit Catcher's going to get a lead. I quite like being wider over 7 furlongs and a mile at Sandown. I don't like stalls 1, 2 and 3 around there. It can get really trappy, but Spirit Catcher will get away sharply. Interesting, he is trained by Charlie Johnson. He's a 4-year-old now, but he must have had some sort of issue just earlier in the spring there, because we didn't see him, like you think about the campaigning of Johnson horses, we didn't see him until June. He's run 2 really good races. He runs off the same mark here of 87 when second at Redcar and second at Newcastle. That was just last week. He was beaten by Latam, the Haggis horse. It was a heck of an effort. I think he just edged a little bit to the left. I'm certain he would have won if he hadn't hung left. I wonder if now a third quick run, he might just be reaching his peak.
He's your typical Johnson horse, isn't he? He's tough, he's consistent, and he goes from the front, so he's got a lot going for him. He's a double figure price.
He's not, yeah, he is, and he's not exposed. He's not exposed yet. He's only had 13 starts of his life, whereas the other Johnson horse, Dutch Decoy, a bit more of a hold-up horse, he's had a bunch of starts. I'd be a bit more exposed.
Yeah, I'd be willing to take all of those that ran in Hunt Cup. I'd be willing to take them on for one reason or another, especially Perotto, just because he's going to be overbet. No one's missed him. He went too soon last time, but
that pace marathon, there's no chance Perotto makes a running. I know the pace marathon, because they're this run style last time.
He's got a hood on now, I think, hasn't he, as well?
No, tongue-tied.
They'll hold him up.
Yeah. They'll ride him for luck from the inside draw, which you might need plenty of. Well, there you go. Thanks to Kieran and thanks to Matt for their thoughts on Saturday's big race action at Sandown Park, and best of luck with your own wagers across the weekend.
You can watch more Sporting Life video by clicking on the left here, and you can download the free Sporting Life app in your app store now for the latest news, expert tipping insight and big race analysis, all at the tap of a finger. Users must be 18 or over to sign up to the Sporting Life app.